Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz, and I'm joined by Danny, Kelly, Craig, Horlbeck, and we are going to go over all the games from Week 11. I still cannot believe we are 11 weeks into the NFL season. This is the week of the year. Just going to throw it out there. It's the week of the year. We got the Eagles-Washington game on Thursday Night Football. We have Steelers-Ravens. We have Chiefs-Bills. We have Chargers-Bengals on Sunday Night Football. But there's nowhere to start except we literally just found out, 5 seconds ago before we started the show that Darnell Mooney has an Achilles injury. Is that what's going on?
He was added to the injury report with an Achilles. I don't know the significance of that, how much it was, if this is like a Christian McCaffrey thing where they're like, ow, his calf hurts, so we're going to rest him.
I don't love that they skipped calf and went straight to Achilles already. That makes me think it's a little serious. I feel like this is a huge problem. Darnell Mooney was... we did our half-season awards. Was Darnell Mooney top 3 in waiver wire ads of the year or best sleeper picks of the year? He's like saved so many people's fantasy seasons this year, including mine, for people who drafted like Rashee Rice or something.
Yeah.
So this is pretty catastrophic if he has an Achilles injury. Those don't really go away, I feel like. I doubt in 2 weeks he's just going to... that's going to be a thing of the past.
I know. And they don't have like a ton of depth at the receiver spot either.
If only the Falcons had played in Germany, he'd be fixed.
Yeah.
True.
I'm less worried about the Falcons. I'm more worried about myself, DK.
Oh, sorry. That's true. Yeah.
That's
This is a fantasy podcast. I keep forgetting.
That's a huge bummer, though. I mean, you should probably go to the waiver wire if you're in need of a wire. The Achilles is no joke, obviously.
Injury of the year?
What is the injury of the year? We should do that. What is the injury? What is the body part injury of the year right now?
A couple years ago, it was the mallet finger.
Oh, right.
It's been Achilles, and it's a back-to-back. Like the Chiefs have back-to-back Super Bowls. Achilles is back-to-back years because you had Rodgers, Kirk last year, McCaffrey. I just think the Achilles is just dominant right now. It's on a dominant run.
Is the Achilles having a moment?
Yeah. There you go. Okay, game of the year. I actually think this is the game of the year. The Chiefs are at the Buffalo Bills.
How many times have you said that this year?
Well, this one is though.
Once. Right now.
You kind of say something about Bills Chiefs.
I mean, yeah.
Okay,
please do.
I guess this is a show I'm on. I'm kind of sick of these games. I'm sick of Bills Chiefs because it doesn't matter. The Bills always beat the Chiefs in the regular season, and then the Chiefs always beat the Bills in the playoffs. And this happens every year. And once again, Patrick Mahomes is not favored in this game, which I find hilarious. They're 9-0. We keep doing it. Mahomes has won 11 of 14 games outright as a dog. He's 12-1-1 against the spread. Do I think Buffalo's a better team? It doesn't matter. Because we've seen this happen over and over. Heifetz, are you shocked that the Bills are favored? What is it, by 2 points right now?
I mean, obviously, your first reaction is, how is Mahomes an underdog? And then you're like, well, the Bills have beaten the Chiefs in the regular season 3 years in a row. But that's not like the way we look at it, because the Chiefs have eliminated the Bills from the playoffs 3 of the last 4 seasons. But yeah, I mean, there's something about this rivalry that's kind of like, it's everything for Buffalo. Like, they built their whole team around beating the Chiefs, and the Chiefs just keep losing to the Bills in the regular season and then winning the Super Bowl. So there's like a big little brother. All he thinks about is beating the big brother dynamic, and the big brother just has plans later, whether or not you like it. It's kind of weird. But I also think this game's kind of like the MLB All-Star game used to be. This is for home field advantage, because if the Chiefs win this game, honestly, home field's wrapped up for the AFC, because the Chiefs are 9-0. If they win this game, they'll be 10-0 with the head-to-head record over the Ravens and the Bills. That's curtains. No offense to Jerry Jones, but like, that's it for curtains for the Chiefs. Will have home field. But if the Bills win this game, then they're only like half a game behind for AFC. So I do think it matters for that much.
I just can't believe Keon Coleman and Amari Cooper are banged up. Dalton Kincaid is banged up. The Chiefs defense is playing really good. They've been really good all year. I can't believe that this Bills team, the Bills have been good. They're like basically a top 10 team on both sides of the ball right now. But getting 2.5 points against the undefeated Chiefs is just nuts to me. But
DK, what do you think of that? Because I think that obviously the Chiefs, so they're 9-0, but they have 7 games decided by 1 possession or less. But they really have like 4 or 5 games decided by 1 play or less. Like, you could go back through. I mean, obviously the blocked field goal last week. Like, you have multiple games the Chiefs have played where 1 play really shifts whether they won or lost. So, like, I mean, do you think it's ridiculous for the Chiefs to be underdogs? It's saying it out loud. I do think it's ridiculous. It's hard to say. If anyone doubts us, even if you're a Bills fan, say out loud, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are underdogs to the Bills. It sounds silly.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is exactly what you just said, though. It's like the Chiefs are 9-0, but they don't feel like a 9-0 team. It's like, I think that offensively they've struggled to find a rhythm. They've been banged up on offense too. Defensively they're very strong, but the Bills are also a really good offense. They're a ton of balance. I do think I think the thing that maybe is being overlooked here by the spread or whatever is that the Bills are just pretty banged up. Like you said, Craig, it's Kincaid is out probably. He's not practicing yet. Amari Cooper's, I think he's getting better and he's trending towards playing, but he's really banged up. I don't know. Keon Coleman is going to be out. So I don't know what they're going to do on defense. They're back to kind of like where they were early in the year, where I think they're just going to like run the ball really hard and try and like win, the turnover battle and things like that. It's just going to be kind of like a smash mouth type of game.
Yeah, and I think obviously the people to watch this game are Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and I'm curious what happens at left tackle for the Chiefs, where they have like Wanya Morris has a bone bruise, the left tackle for the Chiefs. He's in and out sometimes, but I actually think the player that I think to watch in this game, weirdly, is Leo Chenal, who's the linebacker for the Chiefs, because we always talk about Steve Spagnuolo being this incredible defensive coordinator and it makes it so hard on offenses. And I don't know if we always explain why Steve Spagnuolo is so good. But frankly, the Chiefs defense has carried the Chiefs for like 2 years now. You know what I mean? Like it's been the last couple Super Bowls, like especially last year, like the defense is carrying Kansas City. And I want to shout out Cody Alexander, who has an incredible Substack called Match Quarters. And he had a great article this week called The Magician, and it's free. It's like you have to pay for stuff, but it's like a free article, so you can go read the whole thing. And it's about Steve Spagnuolo using Leo Chenal, and it's called The Magician. And it's about how Leo Chenal is basically the Kyle Juszczyk of defense for the Chiefs, where it's like you don't think about Kyle Juszczyk all the time with the Niners, but he's kind of the key to everything, because it's kind of like how basketball is now, Craig, where it's like matchups and can everyone on the court still defend everyone without having to sub? Yeah, it's the game within the game. It's about substitutions, who's on the court, and do you have a glaring weakness? And it's about when someone is on your team is so versatile, what are you able to do? And I don't think I had fully realized this, but Leo Chenal can is lining up so many versatile places for the Chiefs defense. Outside linebacker, edge rusher, and he's been playing 3-tech, which is basically defensive tackle. And I don't think I had realized that this season, but I actually want to just quote this article from Cody, who wrote it's called Match Quarters, and it's called The Magician. But he had this amazing thing where basically his point is the Chiefs go out there with a 4-3 package. But if you watch Leo Chenal, sometimes they'll just become a 3-4 right before the play, or vice versa. And it was really good. But basically the point is, and I'm quoting Cody, the ability to simply place a defender on the line of scrimmage, but run every call on your base playbook makes the Chiefs defense really hard to figure it out. And it changes the run game, it changes the pass game, but you still can do all your coverages and all your blitzes. So I think, frankly, like Chenal's number 54. So if you want someone to watch when the Bills are out there, that's the person I'm thinking about, because to DK's point, they're going to have to run the ball because all the receivers are hurt. And I'm really curious if they're able to run the ball.
Chenal is one of the more athletic linebackers to come out of college in recent history. So I just remember, watching him and trying to figure out like where he was really going to fit in the NFL exactly. So it's really cool to see that basically the answer is everywhere.
I do think the final button on this game, I do think that if Josh Allen wants to win an MVP, he has to win this game. I think if he loses this game, he cannot win an MVP. Lamar has the best odds right now, and he's probably going to win it again if he continues at this pace. But Josh Allen is second in odds and Mahomes is third, which is kind of weird to me. But Allen has to beat Mahomes by 10 points to even have a shot at winning the MVP this year, I think. And I want him to.
Lamar's been better though, right?
He definitely has. But I mean, he's had 2 already. Like I think Josh Allen at this point in his career like deserves an MVP by now. So I would like to see him do it this year, especially with this team he's working with.
Deserves got nothing to do with it. Well, speaking of Lamar though, the next game here, this is also the other game of the year. 2 games of the year this
is exciting.
I know. Doesn't this feel, this is what I'm saying. This feels more, Bills Chiefs, it's like, God, we've done this. Even though that was the 13-second game, which was like the most exciting football game I've ever watched. And there's something about it that feels a little strange now.
Well, it's not just the 13-second game. Now it's like, I mean, frankly, last year, this is now the rematch of the Kadarius Toney offside game where Mahomes was bitching after the game of like, that was BS call and stuff. I feel like that's what the Bills are going to be watching this week. Yeah. Mahomes complaining on the sideline. But yeah, Steelers-Ravens, this feels like the most fun Steelers-Ravens game in quite a while, right, Craig?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I mean, I can't remember the last time both these teams were this good. I guess it might have been that weird year where the Steelers were 11-0, but they actually sucked.
Yeah.
I keep waiting for the wheels to fall off the Russell Wilson train.
Yeah.
And I mean, Baltimore is very susceptible in the pass. They're terrible in the passing game. They have a great run defense, which, I think a lot of the Steelers' success has come from running the ball. And that opens things up for Russ passing the ball. I am a little nervous. I almost think the Ravens should just let the Steelers run the ball a little bit more so it doesn't open up the passing game as much. I'm nervous for the Russ thing to kind of crash and burn. And I think everyone in Pittsburgh is like really enjoying the ride, but I do fear like that we are kind of walking a tightrope here. And the second there are any like signs of cracks, people are going to flip.
Yeah, I think the Wilson thing is you don't want him just dropping back and passing.
Correct.
At this point in his career, he's good when he can get out on a bootleg. There's a lot of misdirection. There's a lot of, marrying the pass game with the run game, and defenses aren't exactly sure what's coming, and they can like do play action off of that and all that. I think if you're just having him drop back straight dropbacks and they're expecting the pass, like that's not going to be like his game anymore. I was looking at this, Craig, because from your point of view, you're a Steelers fan. I think Steelers-Ravens like sounds like a good rivalry, but over the last like couple of years, it's like been pretty one-sided. I was looking
Steelers have dominated.
Steelers have won 11 of the last 15, and they lead the playoff rivalry 3-1. And part of that is Lamar's like barely played the Steelers the last couple of years. He's played 2 times since 2021, and
he was hurt once, or it was Huntley once.
Yeah, he was hurt. Well, I think last year he was inactive for both of the Steelers games for multiple different reasons. I can't remember off the top of my head. But basically, it's like this is a weird one-sided rivalry, but also partly because Lamar's just not really played the Steelers lately.
Yeah, I do think the Steelers are really good in division. I think Tomlin is a good coach against division teams, and I think they struggle more when they play a team they haven't seen a lot. I mean, I do think the Washington win was a bit of like, it's going to be hard to kind of recreate the momentum. I think that was such a big win for them. It was such an exciting finish to that game. Getting up again to do this again. They're at home now, which is nice. They were in Washington last week, but I do fear that, that Baltimore is going to, do the Baltimore thing and put up 38 points, and Russ is not going to be able to match that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of stakes in this game because the winner is just going to get first place in the AFC North. So, that's a huge deal. Never mind the head-to-head. And then I think the Russ point you made, Craig, I think it's interesting because if you look at what the Steelers are doing with Russell Wilson, and I got this from Rich Rebor at Sharp Football, but basically they're running the ball a ton. But when the Steelers pass, if you look at it as a percentage, Russell Wilson is throwing the ball deep about as much as anybody, but he's also throwing the ball short as much as anybody.
Yeah, just threes and layups.
There's threes and layups. There's no intermediate game. Yeah. There's no mid-range. There's nothing intermediate. It is just
There's nothing in the
balls.
middle of the field.
No, it's just full. It's Daryl Morey ball, 100%. All he does, Russ rolls out, and the first play of every Steelers game, by the way, is he rolls out and throws to Darnell Washington for 7 yards. Yeah, that happens every game.
Yeah, that's their new favorite bit. Yeah, it's just that's the one time they're going to throw to him that game.
Is it Daryl Morey ball is funny? Do you think Russell Wilson's basically James Harden if he had never been to a strip club?
Yeah, he's like Bizarro Harden.
Yeah, it's Bizarro Harden. Oh my God. The other thing we have to mention is I feel like, honestly, this is a really important Steelers-Ravens games too, because I feel like every Steelers fan mostly feels like Craig feels. The defense is legit. And the question is, can Russ keep this up on offense throwing the ball? But the Ravens, it's like everything about the Ravens is legit on offense, special teams. Can the defense stop defenses from passing? So I think that there's a certain existential fear in this of like, if this Ravens defense can shut Russ down, that's pretty concerning for Pittsburgh. But if Russ can throw on the Ravens, I think that's really concerning for Baltimore, especially because Kyle Hamilton, he hurt his ankle last week. Kyle Hamilton's one of the best players in the NFL. He's certainly the best player on the Ravens defense. If he is not able to play, I think that also really like throws this game asunder.
Yeah, asunder.
I said that. I don't even know if I know what that means. I don't think that's what I meant.
The on-off splits with Hamilton are pretty drastic for Baltimore's defense.
I think I was going for off kilter, and then I was going to say off sunder, and I was like, that's not what it is, and I was kind of reaching.
Asunder is just one of those words that it's fun to know, but you should never say it.
Torn asunder?
It's like one of those words that's only used in conjunction with another one. It's like tear or torn. I
have a list of those words I made with a friend who was born
otherwise
in
you don't
school.
use asunder very often or ever.
Dude, like spangled?
Oh my God. Star-Spangled Banner?
Star-Spangled?
Yeah, smithereens.
Yeah, we've talked about this before.
The fuck is that? Anyway, Steelers Ravens. Okay, anything else on that? DK, do you have any advice for Craig and all the Steelers fans before this Ravens game for the inevitable Russ letdown?
We should say the Steelers are home dogs in this game. They are getting 3 points at home versus Baltimore.
If it's like most Russell Wilson games of my lifetime, it's going to come down to the final drive, and you're going to be miserable until you either win or lose.
Nice.
I do
And then
think
you'll be miserable even if you win.
I'm a pessimistic sports fan. I really am. Like I always expect the worst and hope for the best. Like in my mind, I think the Steelers are going to lose by like 17 in this game. But
the Steelers and Ravens haven't played a game that was more than 7-point margin since 2019.
Yeah, I guess the Steelers are very good at playing up and down to their opponent. So
totally.
They can usually keep games close against good teams, and then you're disappointed at how close it is against bad teams.
Yeah.
This is the I guess like the bargain that Seahawks fans had to make for like 10 years straight with like the Pete Carroll ball. I feel like the Steelers are just running the same style of just like identity where
but
it's
like but it's so perfect because they've been the Seahawks of the AFC.
Totally. I'm not
saying
they got it from the Seahawks. This is just like a very similar style of thing. It's like drag people down into the mud and, like play that ball control where we're just going to be a little bit better than you and we're going to win. But it's like, to me, the bargain is like, is that actually a good thing? Like, would you rather have like the ugliest fucking games and be miserable the entire time and then you win? Or would you rather just like have like a really fun style of football and be like really volatile?
Yeah, the Steelers are like the personification of the phrase, like you can't go broke making a profit.
Totally.
But it sucks to watch.
Yeah.
Don't check except you have to check your portfolio constantly.
There was like an impression. I think people thought Seahawks fans were super like spoiled because the Seahawks were, for like the 2010s, basically one of the best teams in the NFL. Like if you look at their record, but
the only team that won more
like
games than the Seahawks in the 2010s were the Patriots.
Yeah, but it didn't feel that way if you're a Seahawks fan because like so many games were just completely miserable. Like
because you were watching the games. Everybody else would just check the box score and think, "Oh, the Seahawks won again."
Totally.
And you're like, you have no idea the battle I just went through to
moral
get that
losses.
W.
I remember very distinctly Pete Carroll one time just telling Seahawks fans to tough it up on the radio, and I was just like, "Damn." He's right.
He's coaching the fans.
He's right. We need more grit.
That's speaking of which, the next game we got here, the Colts are at the Jets this week. Jets are giving 4 points. So on Monday,
this is my game of the year.
Oh, this game.
I'm actually very curious to watch this game.
Same.
So, on Monday, the Colts said they would start Joe Flacco. On Wednesday, Colts coach Shane Steichen said, actually, the Colts are going to start Anthony Richardson this week and for the rest of the season.
And forever. Yeah. He's back.
Craig, what's your temperature check here?
I think that this was a punishment of Anthony Richardson pulling himself out of the game for being tired. I do think that I don't think the Colts have a good grasp. Like, I don't think Steichen and Irsay and everything that's going on in the front office, like, I don't think they have a good grip on this. Just like the timing of the announcement
understatement
has been so weird to me. Like, I don't know why on Monday is Steichen saying Flacco's starting next week, and then on Wednesday he's like, actually, it's Anthony Richardson forever. It's just like, I don't know. There's something going on in the front office that we don't know about on this team that we don't know about.
This is almost like there's a really weird, volatile owner involved in all of this somehow.
Is there another whale that we don't know about?
There's another whale. Well, there's a lot. There's actually a lot we do know about with Jim Irsay, but
this just smacks of Irsay.
Irsay stepped in after Steichen said Flacco's the starter and said we're going back to Richardson.
Something like that. I feel like there's a major disagreement either between Irsay and Ballard or Irsay and Steichen and Ballard. Something's going on because they're not messaging the same stuff. They're not in alignment on anything.
No, this reads very messy. Once again,
I think in a nutshell, I feel like the problem, and I agree with that Anthony Richardson should have been benched because I just think it comes down to like when you're 22 years old and you're playing like shit, it does matter that you can't just pull yourself off the field and assume you'll go back on the field. Yeah, there's consequences. And like, I don't agree with the idea that he can't, like when everyone's like, how's he going to learn from the bench? I'm like, I bet if Anthony Richardson has a long and prosperous career, if you ask him when he's 35, what week he learned the most, it'll be the 10 days he was on the goddamn bench.
Dude, it's embarrassing getting benched. It's really embarrassing.
My biggest issue with Anthony Richardson is not his play. It's not even him pulling himself off the field for being tired. It's him telling the media that he pulled himself off.
Yeah, learn to lie, bro. And then here's the problem, though.
The lack of awareness is kind of shocking, to be honest. Like, what are we doing here?
They're like, be an adult, learn to lie. The problem is everyone he works for is also a child. Like, because Jim Irsay is also like a very, very large child.
He's an oversharer.
Jim Irsay is the guy who tweeted when Rita Ora died, or who is that? Not Rita Ora, she's new. Rita Hayworth.
Died. Rita Ora and Sean Paul are dead?
No, Sean Paul. Yeah, Rita Ora, R.I.P. No, the woman who's on the poster in Shawshank Redemption, Rita Hayworth. When she died, Jim Irsay basically posted, R.I.P. I used to jerk off to you all the time. That was like literally what he tweeted.
Yeah.
Like, this guy has no filter. He inherited the team from his dad, who was a maniac. And Jim Irsay just spends all his fortune on whales and crazy expensive guitars.
In that order. Whales,
he's just
guitars.
Dude, yeah, whales, guitars. Like, look up Jim Irsay as a private museum in his home because he's a child. So all that to say, yeah, it's like Anthony Richardson is immature and he's learning about maturity from Jim Irsay, which seems to be largely what's going on.
What was the Jim Irsay taking a dump story again? I feel like we had that.
Oh my God.
Years ago.
Yeah,
he went to someone's house.
Yeah.
He was in the Josh McDaniels bathroom, allegedly. This is a Dan Dockich.
Was he in there for like an hour or something?
An hour. And his wife was like, we're
what is...
It's an interesting situation.
Why did he? I don't remember the Rita Hayworth thing. Why did he tweet about Rita Hayworth?
Oh, dude, Google it. Google Rita Hayworth, Jim Irsay.
But like, what prompted that?
He tweeted,
but she died in like the 80s.
Oh, then it's someone else. Jim Irsay, R.I.P. There. Third time's the charm.
Oh, so an actress died that he was very fond of in her youth.
Yeah, sorry, I gotta find this now.
Was it Raquel Welch?
Yes, Raquel Welch.
Okay. Because she died last year. And I do think she's one of the women. I think Rita Hayworth and Raquel Welch are
they're in Shawshank.
Yeah.
He tweeted the win last night. 2 years ago, he tweeted the win last night was as beautiful as Raquel Welch. 2 years ago.
The picture is her in like a really sexy nun outfit.
Sexy nun.
Okay.
There's just layers to this. Where's the jack off part? Maybe that was just assumed.
Oh, he tweeted another American icon has left us. Rest in peace, Raquel Welch. And he tweeted the poster from Shawshank.
But no, there's no masturbating reference.
Okay, but like,
it was
come
just
on.
Implied.
He brings her up all the time. He's 82 years old.
I do think that's a bit of a jump, but
all right, fine.
I feel like you could get sued for that.
All right, well, maybe we'll cut it.
To be clear, I never said I was masturbating to her.
Also, this is a comedy podcast.
Yeah, run the Chiron.
He brings it up a lot. He said that later in person that another win was like Raquel Welch times 40.
Oh,
I just love the picture that he chose, the sexy nun.
Yeah,
that's good.
What's going on there? Anyway, weird game.
Anyway, yeah. So football.
Packers are at the Bears this week. Speaking of awful quarterbacks who are playing really poorly and everything's going terribly.
This is the beginning of the brutal stretch for Chicago. This NFC North stretch that they're about to embark on.
Oh my, yeah, they're just playing Packers and Lions and Vikings home and away each time, and then honestly, of all the weeks the Bears could be going through this, firing their offensive coordinator, giving up 9 sacks to the Patriots. The Bears have lost 10 straight games to the Packers, and now they have to have the Packers at Soldier Field. Just absolutely ripe to get booed in the first quarter. DK, do you actually think the Bears offense will look I don't want to say different, but any better with this new offensive coordinator?
Tom Brown.
I do think it's going to look better. How much better is obviously the question. I think there's going to be a little bit of a new coach bump here. I think the vibes were absolutely atrocious. I mean, if you hear some of the stuff that the players were saying this week, I don't think we've talked about this. First off, DJ Moore was asked about Shane Waldron this week, and he said basically, when we wanted a call, it was like a drive too late, or when we wanted to make an adjustment, we waited till halftime to make it. Basically, they were not adjusting quickly enough or at all. And then Keenan Allen basically confirmed what Jackson Smith and Jigma said in the offseason, where he called Waldron a good guy, or he called him like a nice person, I think. He said, Keenan Allen said, he's too nice of a guy. OTA's camp. We fell into a trap of letting things go and not holding people accountable, and that's a slippery slope.
Huge L for nice guys.
For instance, letting, a star receiver walk off the field in the middle of a play and then not punishing him for doing that, or that's just one example. So I don't know. I think there's going to be a little bit of a new coach bump. I think it's hard to get worse than what they've been. Also kind of plays into this. I saw this stat. QBs have been sacked. Sorry, there's only one quarterback that's been sacked more times than Caleb Williams in the first 10 weeks of the season since the merger. And that's David Carr, who famously
it's always the Carrs
got kicked out of the league or got bounced from the league because he just got shell shocked his first season. He got sacked more than any other quarterback ever in his first season, and that was like basically the end of it. So Caleb Williams, I think part of it is on him. He's just holding the ball. He's not being decisive enough. He's turning down throws, and I want to see him improve on that this week. But also just like the protection, the scheme, the personnel, everything is working. It's like chaos. It's none of it is working together. None of it is working harmoniously. So I want to see slight marginal improvements in that. I don't know if it's going to be like a full on like sea change type of look, but I do think they'll look better.
Heifetz, do you think there's some Costanza potential here? Do you believe in the new interim coach theory for a coordinator, or does that only apply to head coaches?
I don't think it's. I mean, sometimes
when it's a coordinator
like,
that is like reviled, he was clearly reviled by the players. Maybe reviled was the strong word. Disliked is probably closer.
Yeah, I don't think Walton's reviled. I think basically what Bill's theory is with the new coach thing is that like he just noticed that like every time there's an interim coach, those teams always outperform in the first game or two. And I do think the real answer is because if a coach is bad enough to get fired in season, the players have stopped trying. And especially defense is mostly effort. And when Dennis Allen or Josh McDaniels gets those guys to stop trying, then they try again. They look a lot better. I don't think that's the case for the coordinator because, frankly, I don't think anyone hated Shane Waldron. I think Shane Waldron, unfortunately, was just terrible at his job. So I don't think that any of these things are really aligned to improve because I don't think the offensive line is something that could be improved in a week. I don't think that like the route concepts, what they do, like frankly, they're missing time on task. And like this move was made like midday Tuesday. This wasn't even Monday morning. Like they lost the whole day. Like this guy's had the job for like, as of we record this at Thursday at 4:00, he's had the job for like 50 hours. So I don't think that there's going to be any kind of bump. I think that like over the court, I think that the Bears might be better in mid-December, like a lot better than they are now, but they need to practice more. And until then, they're kind of screwed.
Costanza, this is in the Costanza zone. We'll keep this.
Yeah,
we'll keep this warm.
I'm like, for whatever reason, I'm just like, I think there's going to be a bump.
Because I almost think, I think new coach theory is not really necessarily about the scheme. I think it is about the vibes. I think I do believe in that type of stuff, even if it's a placebo. Just like them knowing that he's gone, even if they're running the same plays, could actually trigger something new.
Craig, this is like the most morbid thing I've ever thought of, probably. But like, back in the day, like in the Navy or whatever, like the British Navy or whatever it was, they would like if they got stuck in like a place where there was no wind, they would like scapegoat one person on the boat as like the bad luck person and like get rid of them. That's an example. I don't know if that actually happened a lot, but
like they would sacrifice to the wind
they would
gods,
like chuck them off the boat because they're like bad luck or whatever. That's kind of how it feels here with Shane Waldron. I do think a lot of it was his fault, but he's getting scapegoated. And I think getting rid of him is going to immediately improve the vibes. We're going to get a little wind in the sails here.
So you're saying there's a little superstition. This is like Heifetz, you making your mom stay up in the room during the Giants game, or who was it?
Yeah, because, if I've learned one thing, it's a lot of people are superstitious. Yeah. And I kind of feel like players especially are superstitious.
Damn right players are superstitious because they get it. Okay, yeah. All right, we'll write this stuff. Costanza.
Here's the thing: they can actually make a material impact on the game.
Yeah, so can I. Next, dude. First of all, Carlos is producer here. He wore a Jalen Waddle jersey on Monday, and then they won, and so he's wearing it again. And I had to tell him, but you also have to wear it on Sunday because you don't know if it worked because you wore it for the show or wore it for the game. DK's literally like not even rolling his eyes. He's like flexing his jaw. He's so disgusted by this.
No, I was trying to think of, does he have to just wear it every day?
I think he has to just, I don't think he can take it off.
You can't take it off.
See, no, you guys don't believe. You guys have no idea. You guys just.
You can't wash it.
Sorry, I don't believe in the guy wearing a Jalen Waddle jersey. I don't believe anything that associated with Jalen Waddle. Sorry.
You're the one who said Jalen Waddle's a buy low. You keep playing him every week in your lineup.
That was superstition.
I think that's just stubbornness.
Yeah. Speaking of which, okay, Jaguars are at the Lions this week. Lions are giving 13 points. I don't have anything to say about this.
Mac Jones again?
Honestly, God, like there's a bless his heart parlay this week between Mac Jones and the Lions, and then Will Levis and the Titans facing the Vikings. Like both of them, honestly, I have nothing to say about either of those games other than bless your heart, Will Levis versus the Vikings. Bless your heart, Mac Jones versus the Lions. I hope you guys escape healthy.
Yeah. I want Mac Jones to play well and then create a quarterback controversy in Jacksonville because chaos is fun.
You want to hear an offseason of people saying Trevor Lawrence is worse than Mac Jones? Do you really want that?
Not actually, but it's funny, kind of.
How many players on the Jags are you starting in fantasy comfortably? Are you starting Brian Thomas?
Comfortably zero, literally zero, because even Brian Thomas, you need
maybe.
Yeah, I guess Evan Ingram because he's going to get a bunch of targets. But like Evan Ingram's literally it. I mean, ETN is a mess to start. I think you probably should start him, but like if you have to. But like no, it's a mess. I have one question for you that's never come up on this show, and then we can move on if no one cares. We've never ever discussed how Mac Jones's name is McCorkle. I feel like this is our last chance.
I think we have.
We talked about it during the draft show.
Yeah, I think that was the first. Was that the first year of the draft show?
Yeah,
it sounds right.
McCorkle.
Yeah. McCorkle. Lad McCorkle.
That's his middle name, I think.
Oh, his name's Lad?
No, I was just joking. Lad McCorkle. Lad McCorkle.
His name is Michael McCorkle Jones.
His name?
Of course.
Mac Jones.
Michael Jones. His name's Mike Jones. Let's be clear.
Mike Jones.
Right.
Raiders are at the Dolphins this week.
This is the Waddle game. This one has to be the Waddle game.
You think this is the Waddle game?
It has to be.
Waddle game of the year.
Why does it have to be? It definitely does not have to be.
Yeah, you're right. But it does feel like they're at home playing the shitty Raiders. If not now, then when?
I agree. Dude, this game, first of all, Dolphins need to win this game to stay in the playoff hunt. Raiders need to lose this game to like stay in the first pick hunt. Dude, I kind of think Tua played terribly. I'm sorry, Carlos, I'm sorry in advance, but like I kind of think Tua played really poorly on Monday Night Football.
His arm has no juice. He can't throw to the outside of the field.
Dude, no, and like the entire thing's over. Again, shout out to Cody
win
Alexander.
That game?
They can't, but like Cody Alexander.
That was a McVay botch job. Not gonna lie, that was.
Dude, we want to get to that too while we're here.
Yeah,
Dolphins first. We'll get to McVay. Unbelievable.
Okay, dang.
We'll get to him. But the
McVay, stand over there and think about what
you can count on me in the parking lot.
Well, asshole, good for Happy Gil. Oh my god. Yeah, that guy's the best.
Yeah.
The nail comes out next week.
I actually think this does have to be the Jalen Waddle game, because if it's not, I don't know how you play him, because every defense is just going to do cover 2, flood the middle of the field, and they place man coverage outside. And to Craig's point, Tua can't throw outside.
No.
Like they can't throw outside. Oh, Carlos is a ghost. You want to get in here, Carlos? Carlos is just so mad.
Carlos, do you disagree? Do you have faith in Tua's arm?
He can't throw outside the numbers. He can't throw outside the numbers.
He's been underthrowing Tyreek Hill for 3 years.
He's a realist, I think.
I feel like Tua thrives on the rhythm crosser over the middle of the field to the wide open guy. He can hit it in rhythm. He can be very accurate. But the second he's got to throw a deep ball to Tyreek or Jalen Waddle along the sidelines, it's very dicey.
In general, yes, I agree. The only thing that I like am upset about is like the idea that he played poorly on Monday. Like, I don't know. That's kind of crazy to me. Like, if anything, that was a very encouraging game because he was actually creating outside of structure, which he never does.
That's true. I'll give you that.
The stuff that they normally succeed at was not happening, and it hasn't been happening. And I think it was encouraging that the quick hitting stuff wasn't there, and he was able to find stuff down the field and successful.
I
will
like
totally
very,
give you that.
Very quickly forgetting that he's the actual MVP of the league. Like he's actually the most valuable player on any team because the offense simply does not work. The offense does not work whatsoever when he's not in the game.
That's because they built a ridiculous offense that only works for like this one guy, and they have no backups that can run it.
He's very clearly very, very valuable to this offense.
Yeah, but any quarterback would be.
No, that's not. I think that's the shades of gray here because this offense goes from literally can't do anything to like a pretty good offense when he's a quarterback. And I think that there's a lot of other teams that can lose their starter and still like function.
But I think Heifetz is right. I think that's more a product of the scheme. And I don't think it's like it has to be Tua there. I think if you replace Tua with Jared Goff or Geno Smith or Jimmy Garoppolo, Derek Carr, they could probably operate that offense.
I'm sure Carlos is losing his mind right now.
They had Teddy Bridgewater 2 years ago, and the offense sucked when Tua went out. So,
but here's the thing. I think, look, we always say, and we always criticize coaches when they're like, why don't you build your system to the players you have? Mike McDaniel, absolutely, he built a system to Tua. Tua's a point guard. Tua is Steve Nash. Tua is like...
He was the MVP of the league.
Twice.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. It was very controversial, wasn't it? And no, but I'm just saying, but like he's a point guard in that he's getting the... I'm not... Look, my controversial take is everyone's right about Tua. I think he's really valuable, but I think that he's maybe not overrated because I don't really understand how people do rate him. But what I'm saying is like he can hit what he hit, But defense is this, like, I think what people forget is before he was injured in that Bills game, the Dolphins offense was not working because defenses are making him throw outside the numbers. He can't. Like, I'm just saying, like, he can't push the ball outside the numbers. Now, to Carlos's point, I agree, Carlos, because Tua did do more in that game to try stuff when it wasn't working and like create, move in the pocket, do unscripted stuff, like do improv more than I've ever seen him do. And I think that he was better at it, frankly, than I thought. But the point is, the scripted stuff is not working in Miami. Like everything that they've been doing for 2 years, like they have not been able to fix the stuff because the offenses they built it doesn't work because they can't block, they can't run the ball, they have no short yardage running game, they have no real running game, and so when Tua can't push outside, like there's nothing working. That's why this offense is like totally different than the one we saw last September. But I agree that
they did win. For the record.
Yeah, what are they 1-2 with Tua back?
Well, let's do it. Let's do. All right. Well,
I thought the Rams were pretty good, and the fact that the Rams lost to the Dolphins was like it destroyed their aura in my mind.
Let's just do Rams Patriots then, because like I actually thought the Rams played horrific. Because I'll give you the Rams defense played awesome. I thought the Rams offense. I thought it was like an embarrassing game for McVay because I think the tinkering with the offensive line was tough, and the end of game stuff. I don't understand how someone so smart could also still be botching the end of the games. It kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, he kicked a field goal on 3rd and 10.
Yeah, what
third
the
and
hell
10 with
was
40
that?
seconds left. Third and
we didn't talk about that. What the hell was that?
I think he gets in his. I think he overthinks a little sometimes. McVay. He tries to. He's like 9 steps ahead and he forgets step 1.
Wasn't it? Weren't they on like the 15-yard line or something? It's like, doesn't that give you a better chance of scoring the touchdown now on 3rd down?
I don't know if they were that close, but yes, they were close.
Whatever it was. Yeah.
My mom calls it smart, stupid. It's kind of like how we have Chiefs Bills this week and we started our podcast with Darnell Mooney. Like, sometimes you overthink it, and that was actually unbelievable because like the whole game he kicked a field goal on 4th and 4, and then but again 3rd and 10 from the 12-yard line, and like I know we keep saying this as a bit, play Madden like one time, like just play Madden once, because like in what world would you rather kick the field goal from the 12 and then get an onside kick and then need to get a touchdown instead of just try to get a touchdown from the 12? Like, at least run a 3rd down play and then kick the field goal on 4th down. It doesn't make any sense.
I wish McVay was here right now so that Heifetz could say to his face, play Madden once.
I actually would tell him to play Madden once. I'd concede I don't know anything about football and that he's like a trillion times smarter than me. I would beg Sean McVay to play Madden. I will beg him.
They were on the 30-yard line for the record.
Yeah. I mean, like, I get it, kind of. It's like you're saving time. You're probably going to kick a field goal anyway. You want to get the ball back. I get it.
I think the actual criticism. Look, I think that it's kind of reminds me of Eric Spoelstra, the Miami Heat coach the other day, who just kind of like, you know what? He just kind of melted down. He called the timeout. They didn't have a timeout. Like, you know what? McVay has a pretty sterling track record.
Right.
Oh, wait, no, I read it wrong. It was the 12-yard line.
It was the 12-yard line.
I read it wrong. My bad. Heifetz was right.
Like, I think, frankly,
that's just wild. I can't see that.
Yeah.
But like, McVay, again, he just made a mistake. And like, he's made a lot of clock management mistakes in the past. And it's frankly because he's so fucking smart and he's so fucking young. It's just like, there's a blind spot there. That's fine. The one that actually bothers me is like the offensive line tinkering this year is also like the larger, like they've been overthinking it. They had Steve Avila, who's a guard for them. And then they signed Jonah Jackson free agency. So like, all right, Jackson's going to play guard. Steve Avila will move to center.
Avila?
And then like a week before the season, they're like, actually, Avila, you're going to go. He spent 9 months preparing to play center. Actually, a week before the season, like you're going to play guard. Jonah Jackson's going to play center. Then they both get hurt. And like, there's no line in the league that's more jumbled and all this stuff. And then this week, both the guys come back and they change everyone's position basically. So to get these guys go back. And it just, I don't know. None of it makes sense.
I have a random stat that made me laugh. This is not a non sequitur, but Matthew Stafford has a 0% scramble rate this year. He has 0 scrambles on the season. He's the only quarterback in the NFL who is passer rating qualified with 0 scrambles.
My man's out here making business decisions.
Speaking of the park and park.
You know who else should have a 0% scramble rate? Tua.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I don't know. I just thought that I just was like trying to figure. I don't know what I was looking for, but I saw that I was like, "What the hell?" Like he's literally the only quarterback in the NFL with 0 scrambles, according to True Media. The Rams. So I mentioned this before. I kind of feel like I was getting really excited about the Rams. They have some quality wins this year. They beat the 49ers, the Vikings, the Seahawks. I guess you could call that a quality win. And then they had like a close loss to the Lions, Packers, and then now the Dolphins. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of them. They're very good at pressuring the quarterback, but very bad at tackling. They have the second most missed tackles this season. I just feel like they're one of those.
The Rams?
The Rams do, yeah.
I will say though, the Rams defense has come on because like the Rams defense,
they can pressure the hell out of you. But I think they're just missing, that discipline in the back end.
Yeah, that's true. The Jared Verse, the defensive line they've built, it's kind of like the Chiefs, where like the whole Chiefs defense is mostly made of guys they drafted in the last 2 seasons. The Rams defense is incredible. Like Jared Verse's play, that whole crazy fakakta plan they had, where they were like, we can't replace Aaron Donald, but maybe we could replace him in the aggregate. What if we take 2 guys that played together and took both of them? Which if it didn't work, we would have made fun of. Honestly, working pretty well. It's kind of insane.
And they were teammates in college. It's
they took Braden Fisk and Jared Verse,
teammate thing,
and they were like, "What if 2 guys who really know how to play together would elevate each other?" And it's kind of a crazy thesis. And we'll take both.
The Rams are the team that every team that's been struggling for multiple years to like build on the defensive side of the ball, and I'm thinking of the Seahawks in particular. The Rams just pissed me off because they like plug holes and fix everything with just like a amalgamation of just random guys that they find in like the 3rd and 4th round. I know that they spent 1st and 2nd rounders on Verse and Fisk, but this has been something they've done over the last few years. It's like they keep finding guys that can really contribute, and it's really good coaching. It's really good. They do a really good job of like marrying their scouting with like their coaching, and so they can like develop these guys and put them in their system and get them to work like right away. So like if you have a defense or a coach that's like been trying to fix their defense for a couple of years, like just look at what the Rams have done. They keep like making these transitions on the fly, and it's working. Did
you guys see that Harrison Butker is heading to the IR and getting meniscus surgery?
Oh wow, that just happened.
But it says he'll be back for the late part of the season.
Had you noticed that he was landing on his knee after every kick? There's these videos of him kicking, and after every kick, he falls down onto his left knee every single time.
Yeah.
You say fall his knees in a Walmart?
Kai the other day just asked, because Kai is my Gen Z consigliere. I ask him whenever I need to know like what the slang means. He was like, he just randomly brought up, he's like, Danny, do you know what it means when someone falls to their knee in a Walmart? And I was like,
this started because we didn't know what pour honey on you goat means.
I'm pouring honey on you goat.
We were like, is this good or bad?
Oh my God. What was the thing? Kai, is Kai here? Can
Kai,
he come in?
Yeah. What are you doing, Kai?
Kai, what are you doing?
Kai,
I'm just chilling.
I never know what you're doing. Back there.
What are I never know what he's doing.
Kai, what did you ask me yesterday? You asked me another Gen Z slang yesterday.
Yeah, I asked you if you knew
type joint,
type beat,
type beat.
Yeah,
type B.
You don't
type beat.
No, type beat. Yeah, you don't know what type beat means.
I don't know what that means.
Heifetz, Craig? No.
I can guess. I don't know.
Go for it. I'll use it in a sentence, right? Like a spelling bee.
Do that.
Let's see.
This is a good idea.
Gen Z spelling bees for slang.
This is actually a phenomenal idea, and we should use this later. Kai walks up and he goes, type beat. Type beat.
Spell it.
Use it
T-Y-P. Is it T-Y-P-E? Type beat.
Yes. T-Y-P-E.
And he spells it. He uses it in a sentence. And then we have to guess it.
Use it in a sentence with Jalen Waddle.
Okay. If I say that.
Does it mean like a copy of or something?
Yeah. So it's like, I'm trying to think of Jalen Waddle type beat.
All right, don't use Jalen Waddle.
Okay.
Any example you want. It's fine.
Jalen Waddle type beat would be something that just frustrates the fuck out of Craig.
Yeah, exactly. So like yesterday, this is how I said it. I said, we were talking about something and I was like, this is something like break glass in case of emergency type beat. Like it's something that you could use instead of just saying in like.
It basically means kind of thing.
Oh, so it's kind of like how ish.
The language of origin for this one is basically Future and like Playboy Cardi. Like people would make beats on YouTube that sound like a Future beat, that sound like a Playboy Cardi beat. And so it's like, it's a Playboy Cardi type beat. It's not an actual Playboy Cardi beat.
It's giving Future.
See, you're learning. We're doing great here.
Dick is lapping us, Craig, in the Gen Z shit.
I
feel like I get it.
I do too. I thought the fall to your knees in a Walmart thing was like people, when they're listening to me say Atlians, they fall to their knees in a Walmart because they're just like so mad at me. But then I found out, I think, that it means like They found out like a celeb that they're in love with is like dating someone. So
when you find out Dua Lipa's a partner.
Margot Robbie pregnant.
Yeah, I fell to my knees in a Walmart.
Awful.
It's less anger and
That's
more
my
like
favorite one.
it's more sadness. It's more like upset. Like
I think that's my favorite.
Heartbreak.
New slang.
fell down to my knees in a Walmart.
I fell to my knees in a Walmart.
So that's how Harrison
Because
Butker got
Margot
hurt.
Robbie is pregnant. That's good shit.
She just had her baby, by the way. Congrats.
Oh, congrats.
Congrats to Margot.
Thanks, Kai. Come up with some more slang soon.
Dude, the Gen Z spelling bee is really funny.
Yeah. Spelling bee. We got to write that down. All right.
I'm actually writing that down because that's
Write that down. Okay. Late games. These games usually are counter programming, whatever incredible, like because these are on during Chiefs Bills.
Yeah.
So there's only two. There's Falcons, Broncos, and Seahawks, Niners. I feel like these games usually suck when it's side by side with Chiefs Bills. These games are actually kind of good. Falcons, Broncos. I don't think it's the best game in the world, but I think this is actually pretty competitive.
It's a good game.
I know
Yeah.
I've been very hard on the Broncos. I think the Broncos are going to win this game. The Falcons have kind of crushed, and Kirk Cousins have kind of crushed bad defenses that couldn't really get to him. Broncos have really good defense, and their pass rush is really solid. Frankly, a lot of free agent moves I didn't think worked for them, like Zach Allen. They got a lot of guys playing really well in Denver right now. So I think the Broncos are going to win.
They've definitely come together nicely. I feel like every game they get a little bit better. They're in more games. They had that one Baltimore game where they were destroyed, but even the first half of that game, they were kind of in it. Bo Nix is looking better every week. We'll see if Audric Estime is their new fantasy running back and perhaps the waiver wire gem of the second half of the fantasy season.
Yeah. Bo Nix, by the way, for the, I know that we're not supposed to talk about the Take Purge after we do, but if we get it right, sometimes we can talk about it. Take Purge update, Bo Nix, the QB 12. He is currently a QB 1 in fantasy. Just saying.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Too bad that doesn't count because it was within the purge.
It does, in my mind, count. Yeah.
I'm surprised you remember it.
It's the beauty of the Take Purge.
Yeah. I can't believe you remember that take. Usually I black that out. I don't know what I said in there.
There's a couple other takes in there that were not so accurate. I don't remember what they were.
Yeah.
Seahawks are at the 49ers this week, DK. How are you feeling about this game?
Ugh, just filled with dread. I hate playing the 49ers.
Toughen up.
I know, truly. The Seahawks, I used to hate watching the Niners games, even when the Seahawks were like really good because they were always just so stressful. But like it was like a fun, great rivalry. Now it's just like the 49ers just kick the Seahawks like face in every week. They've lost 6 in a row. The Seahawks have lost 6 in a row to the Niners. The Seahawks, generally speaking, are middling in all three phases. 18th overall in DVOA, 15th on offense, 15th on defense. They're like right in the middle. They're just like a middling team, whereas the 49ers, 5th overall in DVOA, 3rd on offense, 5th on defense. They're a very good team. They're getting healthier, hopefully, with Debo. What's Debo's status? Is he going to play this week? I think he's banged up, but
I think Debo will play. Honestly, I was thinking about this when we were doing our rankings this week. Debo is a shell of himself. I think
Debo doesn't look in shape. Or I think he just plays physically different.
Debo is so not healthy. Obviously, when Debo's healthy, he's as good as everyone. But like, Debo is so unhealthy right now. Like, I mean, never mind the pneumonia. Like, he has multiple physical ailments. He always has. His shoulder is never okay. But he just has so many issues he's dealing with that, frankly, he's not fast. Shout out to someone who listens to the show who's I will not name because I don't know if they want me to, but like, I don't know. It's been, once it was pointed out to me, it's been hard to see. Like, he's not full speed at all. And I was doing our rankings this week. I just put Jaden Reed for the Packers straight up over. Jaden Reed's just a better player than Debo right now. And again, if Debo is healthy, that's a different question. But I think that's my issue with the Niners as a whole is George Kittle's outrageous right now. And he's their healthiest player at the skill group, which George Kittle's always banged up. And this sounds horrible, but frankly, Ricky Pearsall's the second healthiest player they got. Which is absurd because he was literally shot in August. Yeah. But like, after Ricky Pearsall, Jawan Jennings has this hip issue. Debo is not healthy, and Ayuk looked terrible, and then he's out for the season. So like the Niners, they're not
McCaffrey.
Yeah, McCaffrey obviously is not the same with this Achilles thing. The whole thing with the Niners when they made the Super Bowl last year was they have 5 guys. They're like a switch everything team. Everyone can line up everywhere, and they're all healthy. None of those guys are healthy, and it's messing with their offense because they don't have any of that versatility in the same level.
Yeah, over the last month, Debo is the wide receiver 59 behind Darius Slayton, Noah Brown, Xavier Legette, Jerry Jeudy.
Brutal.
That's crazy.
Elijah Moore, goes on. Josh Palmer, my guy.
Oh, well, that's good company.
Your take was that Josh Palmer is going to outscore Deebo Samuel, right?
That's what I said. Correct.
Spot the lie.
in only the month of half of October and November.
Right.
All right. Sunday Night Football.
Another good one.
This is a great one. The Bengals, the 4-6 Bengals are at the Chargers, who are 6-3. Chargers are giving a 1.5. I think this is an awesome game.
Yeah.
This is like a true, like, nerd out, like, really fun football game.
Quarterback heaven. Joe Burrow this year, first in yards, tied for first in touchdowns with 24. Only 4 interceptions, is 108 passer rating on the season. And meanwhile, Herbert has really caught fire over the last like month. But basically, the Chargers started out the season protecting Herbert like he was like like he was Heineke or something. You know what I mean? They were like they're doing that thing where coaches will like try not make you part of the game plan, right? Like run the ball, play defense, and don't turn it over. And now they're like, oh, we have a freaking guy with a howitzer of an arm who can run around and make plays out of structure. And Herbo over the last 4 weeks, I should say, 268 pass yards per game, which is 5th most, 5 touchdowns, no picks, 111 passer rating. According to Fantasy Points, he has the highest wow throw rate in the NFL. So he's making like preposterous throws. I can't talk. Sorry.
Wow. It's the wow throw
like
rate.
Wow throws. It's like their version of like big time throw.
So that literally means the throws that make you go, wow.
Right.
Nice.
He has the highest wow throw rate in the NFL over the last month. And that's all while getting pressured 38% of the time. So he's just a freaking stud. So basically this is just 2 really good quarterbacks dueling, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I feel like the difference is going to be that the Bengals defense sucks and the Chargers defense is pretty good.
Right.
Because the Bengals, again, they need to win
Bengals
this
can't
game.
stop the run,
they cannot stop the run, which is horrific against the Chargers and any Harbaugh team, because the Bengals are 4-6. They still totally could make the playoffs. But they need to win. Mm-hmm. And I think the question is the Chargers defense, because I think the Chargers defense is the difference between us taking them seriously in the playoffs or not. I don't think it's stunning if the Chargers could beat the Bills or the Chiefs in the playoffs, but I look at this and the Chargers defense has been awesome. They haven't allowed more than 20 points in a game this season, I believe. And they have, all the advanced metrics love them. But if you look at them, the Chargers have lost to Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, and also Justin Fields to the Steelers. But they should have beat. But the teams the Chargers have beaten, the quarterbacks the Chargers have beaten, Gardner Minshew, Bryce Young, Bo Nix, Spencer Rattler, Jameis Winston, Will Levis. So frankly, like Joe Burrow, this is a really big test for whether the Chargers defense is legit. Because if it is, that's a really, really, really big deal for the AFC.
It's also nice to see that they're getting Herbert more involved mobily now. Like Herbert is finally healthy enough for the first time in years, because Herbert in the first 2 years of his career actually could kind of do a little bit with his legs, both like in fantasy and in the game itself. And the last 3 weeks, we've actually seen it a little bit. He had 49 rushing yards 3 weeks ago. Last week, he had 32 with a touchdown. He's actually using his body. I mean, he's so big and strong, and he can like get going. He's really athletic. I forget which guy he juked, but he juked a linebacker out of his shoes. Sick. Yeah.
Herbert's one of the very few quarterbacks in the NFL who, when he gets tackled, he's usually like the defender's usually getting the worst of it.
Yeah, it's like Josh Allen.
Mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like him and Josh Allen are the 2 guys I was thinking exactly, Craig, where when he gets tackled, it's like, oh, that probably hurt the
He's
defender.
falling forward always.
Yeah, probably, I'd be intimidated to try and tackle him kind of deal. Whereas most of the quarterbacks, defenders are like, licking their chops, ready to like take their head off. I think with him, you have to kind of like approach it a little more carefully.
There's definitely a desperation to this Bengals team. I feel like every one of these close losses, you can see it on Burrow's face. They are all, I think they really know that their team is capable of making the playoffs, but for whatever reason, they've lost so many brutal games. Mm-hmm. The 2 Baltimore games were so close, and they lost in the final minute. So I feel like in this game, Russillo loves to say you can't fake desperation. Even though it's in LA, this is a must-win game for Cincinnati. And although the AFC is a really hard division, I don't think it's as much of a must win for the Chargers, just because they have this like padding with the record right now. Mm-hmm. They're not going to win the division anyway. So the Bengals going 4-7 and then playing the Steelers twice still coming up. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, the Bengals need to win. And I think Burrow and Chase have almost been open about being basically in disbelief about how well they're playing and still losing. Burrow and Chase are playing about as well as they can without actually having wins. But again, the defense can't stop the run. And honestly, my issue with the Bengals is I think that there's a lot of happened. Frankly, I think they wanted Byron Murphy in the draft with it to fall to them in the draft. The Seahawks took him, and I don't think the Bengals necessarily had another plan at defensive tackle. I think that's going to come back to bite them. I can't believe, but mostly And I know that I'm not the guy to be criticizing the Bengals because I'm, really afraid of Joe Burrow, and he's playing fantastic. Like, clearly all the issues with the wrist were, I overblew them, but like
so far.
Yeah, we'll
like,
see.
Well, honestly, I think he adjusted to the wrist, and it's fine. The real issue I have with the Bengals offense, I cannot believe they're still relying on Jermaine Burton. It blows my mind.
This guy.
Like, we're talking about Anthony Richardson came off for one play because he was tired. Jermaine Burton was told he would be the focal point of the offense and ghosted the team. And I learned the other day from someone that he lives like a 10-minute walk from the facility, and he was 3 hours late to the meeting where everyone was being told he was the game plan, and then didn't come to the game and was at a slot machine or like at a casino at the slots the day of game, showed up in pajamas. Like, then the next week, they're still relying on him to win. They're throwing him in the fourth quarter of the game. They don't have anyone else. I don't know how you let T. Higgins go, but I think that every time Burrow can't complete a pass to Jermaine Burton in the fourth quarter, which was happening quite a bit on that drive versus the Ravens on Thursday Night Football, I'm like, I wonder if it's because that guy doesn't come to practice. So I don't know.
With that
I can't
said,
believe they don't have an option.
It appears as though T. Higgins is close to returning, back-to-back limited practices. So I think he might be back this week finally.
Yeah. Monday Night Football this week. The Texans are at the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry World. There's no sun at night, baby. Put your curtains up for this shit.
I'm actually very disappointed.
Curtains,
that they're not
baby.
playing in the middle of the day.
I think
bad.
the NFL is disappointed that we have to watch Cooper Rush and the Cowboys on Sunday night.
I also have to shout out again, Jerry being like, it's an advantage for us with the sun. Cowboys are currently the first team in NFL history to have a 20-point deficit at home in 4 straight games.
Wow.
The first team in history?
Yeah. It might have gone to 5. I forget 4 or 5, whatever number they just
regardless,
hit. They're the worst.
That's wild.
Been down 20 points, and I forget if it's either 4 or 5 straight home games, but it's never been done before in NFL history, which is brutal. So another.
How we feel about the Texans? Let's do a temperature check on the Texans, because I feel like
we have Nico Collins coming back.
Nico Collins coming back is big.
It is massive. It is monumentally big.
I'm just kind of like, I've lost my confidence in the Texans as an organization. I think Stroud is like so good, and they're actively holding him back. I don't know. It just drives me nuts. He's been sacked the second most of any quarterback in the NFL. Only Caleb Williams has more sacks than CJ Stroud. And that's like not been a problem for Stroud. Like, he's good. He's a decisive passer. Last year, I don't think it was an issue.
If the Texans can't move, if the Texans can't move the ball in Dallas, they're done. Or Bobby Slowick is done as the coordinator. Not saying he'll get fired, but he's done after the season. And here's why. The Texans' whole thing is they're trying so hard to establish the run. I don't think they're particularly creative or efficient or effective at it. The Cowboys have the worst run defense in the NFL. And like they have had for basically ever since, I know Parsons is back now, but like when you're on the edge, it's not the same thing. The defensive tackles, the linebackers, the Cowboys cannot stop the run. And if the Texans cannot establish the run on Dallas, it's not going to work because DK, I totally agree. Craig, we joke about this all the time. It is, you feel like you're going nuts. Every Texans drive.
They're the 3rd and 10 Texans.
3rd and 9.
We should call them 3rd and Texans because that's what they are.
Fuck, I love that. 3rd and Texans. Write that down. It's true. They're the 3rd and Texans.
They're actively making CJ Stroud's job as hard as possible. Like, it's the opposite of what you should be.
But if there's any team that would work on, it's Dallas. And so if it doesn't work for Dallas, they're screwed.
And it's been tough, I think, for Stroud because he's stuck in all these 3rd and longs. The receivers, after Diggs went down, like Tank Dell is a fine player. He's still working his way back. And these other guys, I think he's just like struggling to connect with anybody in that way. Nico Collins being back is he might be more important to their team, maybe Justin Jefferson, but there are not many other receivers more important to their team than Nico Collins. Yeah. He was leading the league in receiving yards per game. I think it was 113 yards per game before he went down. He was leading the league in first down catches. I mean, he is the guy that CJ Stroud goes to on every single 3rd and long. So I do think, God, if you want to buy low in fantasy, CJ Stroud is actually another decent bet. We didn't mention him on the Wednesday show, but maybe he should have been on that list.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. I mean, Nico is kind of the straw that stirs the drink for that offense, other than Stroud, obviously. But like, big plays, like you said, the high leverage situations, he's the go-to guy. I don't think Tank Dell is that guy. Tank Dell is like a good, I think, number 2 type of receiver where he can get open in certain areas and he can get deep sometimes, but he's not like a true number 1. He's just too tiny. He's just too small, and they need to kind of scheme ways up to get him open at times. So it was cool to see John Mechie score a touchdown last week, by the way. Yeah. I really like that guy coming out of Alabama, and then he had cancer, and he was coming off, I believe, a torn ACL. He had an injury as well. So he's finally, I think, healthy and kind of back to getting back to where we thought he would be coming out of college. So that's really cool.
Let's talk Costanza. You know what? I actually figured out something with Costanza. I think now that we're at this stage in the season, there's like these massive spreads. It's like, oh, are we going to take the Jags getting 13 points or the Jags money line against the Lions? No. I think the real Costanza is like games that people would actually be betting on. Those are the ones that qualify for Costanza. Like who's betting? No one's betting Jags Lions. No one's betting Vikings Titans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are betting games that matter, like with players that matter who are still in the hunt. So I think Costanza is more like, I think the Green Bay Chicago game is the perfect example of a Costanza.
I think that's a good Costanza because everyone's going to bet against the Bears.
It's a game that matters. And
I think
everyone's going to be on Green Bay.
I think that's a good one.
And
I think, right?
And Heifetz gave an impassioned argument that he thinks the Bears will not get better because of this Waldron firing. So I think this is a good one.
The only other one I can think of is maybe Dallas at home, but
that would be so classic.
Wow.
That is
like with Micah Parsons back, like if they get after Stroud a little bit, get a turnover or two.
Should we tease the Bears and the Cowboys?
Yeah. I kind of think the Cowboys is a perfect Costanza.
Why don't we tease the Bears
after
and the
making
Cowboys?
fun of them for a full week because of the sun thing?
Yeah.
Can you? Are we allowed to tease and Costanza? Then now we're just like betting. Now this is just like a normal segment where we're just figuring out a bet we like.
Right.
I think Bears are. I think those are the two Costanzas.
I think it's just Bears money line, Cowboys money line.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I think that's it.
That's smart. I don't know if it's smart, but it's the Costanza.
No, sorry, you're right. It's pretty dumb. Sorry.
Well, it's dumb, which is why it's smart.
Right.
It's dumb. Yeah, it's smart because it doesn't make any sense. That's
smart. What is it?
Yeah.
Smart, dumb.
Smart, stupid.
Smart, stupid.
Speaking of smart, stupid, I think I skipped Brown Saints by accident. But luckily, I mean, who cares?
Luckily, who cares?
How dare you? Jameis revenge game?
Yeah, the Jameis revenge game from when he gave a giant middle finger to Dennis Allen and then was like, I'm going to call a run for Jamal Williams and run up the score here so he can score a touchdown. I will say, just because we've talked so much about superstitions, DK, so you don't believe in superstitions?
I mean, 95% no.
But you do believe perhaps for fans and players, like players, coaches, like their superstitions affect their performance.
Yes, because they have actual impacts on the game because they're in the games playing football. Yeah.
So Saints head coach.
Look good, feel good, play good.
Yeah, look good, feel good. I'm so glad you said it that way. It's look good, feel good, play good. Saints head coach Darren Rizzi, the Rizzler, clogged the toilet last week and they won.
Bad omen.
Do you think that?
Yeah, what's he won the Saturday night?
No, well, do you think that he has to clog the toilet this week if he cares about winning?
That's what I'm saying. I think so.
But is the tradition? I feel like if he does it on purpose, that doesn't follow the nature of the superstition. He has to kind of like eat poorly enough to where he can't help but clog the toilet. He can't just stuff it with toilet paper. He needs to actually clog it with his own waste.
This is like, you can't just go buy like fried chicken from KFC if you want to sacrifice a live chicken.
Yeah, like what is he? He can't just like dump a bunch of trash down his toilet and clog it. Like he's got to clog that thing.
Yeah, I agree.
It's got to be genuine clogging.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you got to meet it.
Yeah.
Also, this is like kind of gross, but does eating poorly lead to clogging of the toilet? Or are you supposed to like eat like just like pure protein packed thing to get like the most density in that thing?
I think he's got to replicate whatever he ate last weekend.
I feel like eating poorly is going to make the wrong kind of waste.
I don't think. I feel like when you clog, it's
liquid waste.
It's gonna be. It's not going to clog, is what I'm saying. You need to eat. You need to go out there and have like 100 grams of protein or something.
Fiber.
I don't know. Yeah.
You never know with athletes and in coaches and stuff what they're eating. I feel like there's just two extremes. Either it's like Derrick Henry where he doesn't have like seed oils or sugar, and then you have
inflammatory things.
And then you have DK Metcalf who says he doesn't eat till like 5 p.m. and he has a bag of candy and then has one meal before he goes to bed.
Dude,
it's just wild.
What the fuck?
He was on some podcast and he was talking about it. He's like, oh yeah, like I just like don't eat most of the day. I work out,
just eats
then
candy.
I work out again. Then I come home and have a cup of coffee. Then I go to practice all day. Then I eat 3 bags of candy. He goes, I Postmates 3 bags of candies, like Sweet Tarts, Skittles, eat those. Then I go to a night workout and then I have like dinner and I go to bed.
Can you imagine being a Postmates driver and you roll up with 3 bags of candy and you're like, who the fuck is eating 3 bags of candy at 4 in the afternoon?
The biggest person you've ever seen in your life. A literal superhero in person.
Oh my God. All right. Any emails we want to hit?
I wanted to hit one. So we asked, I have a 2-parter from Ben.
Hell yeah. Ben.
So we asked people, I asked people to send their most fun Smirnoff Ice stories. Because I was saying that I have a lot of fond memories of Smirnoff icing. I feel like Smirnoff Ice really brings you back to a very specific moment in your life. So I went through a bunch of emails, and this by far was my favorite. So there's 2 parts. Ben says, like all North Americans in college in their teens and early 20s, icing was a popular trend amongst our friend group. Methods of icing people grew increasingly more complex as nobody wanted to be a lame icer, which I respect. While the methods of icing grew more complex, there was naturally an increase in maximizing emotional impact and or revenge for a previous icing. I recall one friend paid a beautiful girl to chat up one of our buddies who had recently been dumped by his longtime girlfriend, whereupon she proceeded to present him with an ice when he asked for her number. Side note, he did not get her number after finishing the ice. I was basically going through these emails and I was like, I just want to find the most diabolical ices I could find. So Ben,
diabolical ice.
Your heartbroken friend, and you're like, dude, let's find a dime to talk to her.
It's only one upped by this next thing that Ben
paid
said.
a beautiful girl.
Dude, that's like, you know that meme of the woman leaning over the car? It's like $50, whatever you want. It's like, ice, my friend.
I'll do anything. Great.
God, that is
Play
so
quarterback
brutal.
for the Bears.
All right, Ben continues. I personally asked my best friend's sister. This is so fucked up, but also hilarious. I personally asked my best friend's sister to call him to tell him their elderly family dog was being put down.
Oh my
Get
God.
the fuck
so that
out
when
of
he
here.
raced home, sobbing the whole way to try to visit him one last time before he was euthanized, he found him
my
alive
God.
and healthy with an ice strapped to his leash harness.
That's too much.
That's crazy.
That's just fucking mean.
He said, I'm not proud of that one. He really loved that dog and didn't believe his mom when she called him a few months later to tell him that he was actually being put down.
Jesus Christ. Talk about crying wolf.
Oh, dude. Dudes are just nuts.
I like that he had it strapped to the dog.
I wanted it to be strapped to the dog's body. I thought that would have been even funnier.
Yeah, like the dogs with the
Well,
avalanche.
he says
is coming
leash
up.
harness, so I don't know.
That's really good.
Yeah, if it was like on him, like strapped like a bomb to his chest, that's pretty funny. And
God,
then
he was sobbing the whole way home.
so brutal. And then he has one more thing. He says, but what ended it all for us was the development of the ice nuke. Similar to the arms race between the Allied forces and Axis powers, eventually a more powerful weapon was constructed and unleashed upon the world. It began simply as 2 regular-sized ices taped together, but eventually escalated to 2 1-liter bottles taped together and delivered in creative ways. Similar to a nuclear bomb irradiating an area and rendering it uninhabitable, if an ice nuke was dropped at a specific location, no future icings could occur there.
Holy shit.
It's so good.
Oh my
Anyway, I love that. I think the concept of the ice nuke, and once you get ice in that area, it's done forever.
Yeah, that's great.
Amazing stuff, Ben.
Between this and the League of No Integrity, there's been some incredible innovation on the show this week.
Yeah, I
The
was
fucking
like
Manhattan Project of icing.
Manhattan Project of icing.
I just love the ice nuke. I was up at like midnight just reading ice emails and responding to people. It's great.
Dude, we're literally those memes of like I wonder if he's thinking about cheating on me, and then you're like the guy's just like on his side who's like you're just reading emails from people about sending you emails at icing. Every time I'm in bed, I'm reading that email account. I just feel like
Yeah, literally my wife was like, are you coming to bed? I was like, I gotta work. And I was just reading emails about the ice nuke.
What's colder than the Cold War? The Ice War.
That's good.
all right. Let's emails at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. If you have any ice stories that can rival that, that's a high bar. Emails trivia. I'll
dog
take
thing.
the dog thing's
The
fucked
dog
up.
thing,
That's
I
crazy.
can't even believe. I can't believe he got the sister to agree to that.
Yeah, that's actually a good call.
She must hate her brother.
Yeah, the sister is also like that's also diabolical from her.
That's really funny.
Email us. What do we want? Email us. Do we want like just ridiculous deceptions that you've pulled off?
All-time pranks.
All-time pranks. We'll take all-time pranks. All-time
Yeah,
deceptions.
expand it just from not ices to anything.
We'll take crazy deceptions that you've pulled off, a la the dog story. That's insane. We'll take trivia. Emails for ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com.
The dog thing. I'm never
That's
going to get over
crazy.
that.
Strapped to the dog is fucking hilarious. Imagine him busting into his
to the
house
dog.
in a
And the dog's
panic.
like, woo.
Were they there to watch him get iced?
It's a good question.
Or were they even not? They weren't even there.
Insane. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Carlos and Kai, for producing this episode. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And of course, thank you, Lord.
Thank you, the Gorillas.
Nice.
They're very, yeah. You actually got me to listen to them earlier this year, which makes me think you did them before.
Probably.
Yeah, the Gorillas were cool when I was in high school. I feel like there was a real moment there when it was like the cool people who knew good music, liked, all the hipster music people like the Gorillas.
Yeah. I don't have a lot to say about the Gorillas. I like them, but
I don't know what they look like. How I know is they're animated characters.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're one of those bands that like the real people. They're just like represented by cartoons or whatever.
Who are the other people like that? So Daft Punk, I feel like, is the most famous.
Yeah.
Sia.
Well, Sia she has stage fright, so she just turns around or covers her face.
But we didn't even know what she looked like for a long time, right?
Yeah. I feel like you could see her online rather easily. She just didn't perform showing her face, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she hid her whole identity.
And then Daft Punk, which I guess there's photos of them now, but obviously like they're not out here performing like that.
I know. It's always these like DJs. Do people know what Marshmello looks like?
I was going to say Marshmello, and before him, who's the mouse guy?
Deadmau5.
Deadmau5. And I feel like Marshmello's more famous than him now, but it is crazy to think that you're that famous. Like you're famous enough to like throw a concert in Fortnite, but like you just walk around, no one knows who you are.
I know. And it's usually just like a white dude from Sweden.
Yeah.
Shouts out Kygo.
Shouts out Avicii.
I know. I mean, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of Swedish DJs. Is Marshmello Swedish?
Oh, I don't know. What's his name?
I didn't know Kygo is Swedish.
No, wow, Marshmello is American. He's from Philly.
Oh, that's too bad. No wonder his music sucks.
Didn't expect. His name's Chris.
His name's Chris.
His name's Chris.
Mr. Marshmello is my father. Chris, if you listen to the show, Marshmello, if you listen to the show, I'm sorry.
Wait, I want to make sure. Am I right here about Kygo?
Kygo's Norwegian.
He's Norwegian, excuse me.
How dare you?
I still think, Craig, I'm obsessed with how you're like, where is the Kygo Christmas album? It's sitting right there.
Dude.
Like, where is all the EDM Christmas album remixes?
Cher came out with one that's like kind of a banger, ironically.
I thought it was sick.
Like
that was a great
recently?
song.
Yeah, last year.
What's it called again?
It's called,
It's DJ Play Me a Christmas Song.
Yeah. At first I was like, I'm going to play this ironically. And then it got to the point where I was like, I think I actually just like this.
I think I'm just playing this. Yeah.
Well, that's always a weird place to be with music. It's like where you like something ironically or whatever. And like your friends, like you play it at parties because it's funny. Like back in the day, we used to play Avril Lavigne in our house. Like I had like 6 roommates. We'd like, anytime someone would turn on Avril Lavigne, like at the top level, we'd all clean for like 15
hey,
minutes.
yeah.
It's like a call to like clean the house real quick. It's usually just like on Saturday, we put Avril Lavigne on really, really loud and like clean. And then like after a while, I'm like, I kind of like this. I kind of like Avril Lavigne, I think. Like, you know how that goes. But we definitely started, it was tongue in cheek at first.
It was like immersion therapy. Like you eventually, it's like just throwing you in the deep end enough where you learn to swim.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, a little bit. Speaking of Sweden.
I put Avril Lavigne on the playlist.
Anyway, shouts out all my Swedish, Norwegian DJs, Kygo, Avicii, goats.
And if you want the playlist, or if you're doing anything this weekend, you want the playlist, email us ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. I'll send you the 1-second song playlist. It's fun. It's good. We got good stuff going. All right. DK, will you sing us some Avril Lavigne before we go?
I'm just trying to remember one of the songs. Hold on.
He was a skater boy.
Said see you later, boy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the words.
He wasn't good enough for her.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.